Welcome to Sustainable Stock, Shooting the Bull, brought to you by Boss Sires. We're not just pulling back the curtain, we're tearing it down. This is where the cold, hard truths come out about what's gone wrong in the cattle industry and what's still worth fighting for. You'll hear from real cattlemen and trusted voices who've built their operations the right way, the hard way, and are still asking the tough questions. Along the way, we'll give you the tools to do the same. What to look for, what to ask, and what really matters when it comes to sustainable, profitable cattle. No fluff, no filters, just real talk that's long overdue. Here's your host, Patrick Powers.
All right, welcome back for another episode of Shooting the Bull. Today is kind of a special treat. We're here at the Meitler Ranch and Darris Meitler and his brother's hunting cabin. We've been invited to have a couple drinks and shoot the shit. Guys, thank y'all for having us out.
Yep, it's been pretty fun the last couple days to be around you guys, and I get to meet you face to face for the first time.
Absolutely right. I don't know if y'all can see from there the hat I'm wearing and the hat he's wearing. Made a good trade today. He got the slick white one. That won't stay that way but for a minute, I suspect.
He says it's a golfing hat.
That's right.
Yep, pretty sharp for sure.
All right, so I don't know what direction we want to take this, guys. Y'all want to talk about what it's been like meeting us two idiots? Or y'all want to roll into what we did today?
Oh, I guess I was wanting you guys maybe tell Clint a little bit about your first stop on your way up here, I guess, and a little bit about their operation. Today we were on a long car ride, so I was snooping at some pictures and soaking up their operation and just found it interesting. So maybe tell Clint a little bit about what your first stop on the road trip was.
Grant, I'll let you take it away. You're the cattleman. Give me the cattleman assessment, and then I'll talk about the person behind
The
it.
cattleman. That's how you.
Yep.
Well, no. Now we got to see Watt Casey Jr.'s operation. He's a beef master breeder over in was it Albany, Texas, or outside of Albany?
Yes, sir.
But yeah, no, it was kind of cool just seeing a guy that's kept it simple for years. Not in a disrespectful way, but a lot of hey, produce the cattle that work. They're gonna have a certain look, and a lot of times there's not a whole lot more to it than that.
No.
But anyway, so that was kind of cool. Just by producing cattle that work in his place, they had a certain look, and I don't know, no temperament problems, no feet problems.
No, we walked among them. We enjoyed their company,
And just looking at the pictures, I'll throw in my 2 cents. I mean, I didn't walk amongst the cows like you guys did, but I saw some similarities in head shape and just 2 different breeds, 2 different places. But I don't know. It intrigued me because I saw a lot of similarities what we do, I guess. But
Sure.
Yeah.
But back to the simple part. I know asking him like, "Hey, Mr. Watt, do you use EPDs?" No. Well, have you ever AI'd your cows? No. Have you ever done embryo work? No. Well, how do you get your cows pregnant? He's like, the bulls. The bulls kind of take care of it.
It did.
So,
It broke down to that simple of a conversation because it's that simple. It's the guys like that that truly have an art in making the accomplishments that are outstanding seem that simple.
right.
And there's dedication behind it, but that dedication leads it to being a simple solution. There was energy put forth early on, there was a desire, there was a passion, and it led to a point of maintenance.
Sure.
And it's heavy maintenance, but
sure. Not taking away, but I know that operation where he said they've been in closed herds since like 1962 or
yeah.
something.
How old a guy is he?
70, about 75.
Okay.
So yeah, not trying to take away from it's so simple, but it was an operation that took that's 65 years of closed herd breeding. So
It's a pro golfer makes it look like it was putt-putt.
yeah,
You know?
And it's a multi-sire pasture deal, and like I said, it's been a closed herd for all these years, and kind of letting Mother Nature take its course, right? I mean, in real short breeding window.
was it 28 days?
Yeah, I think that's what he said was 28 days. And then those females, they were done having a chance for him. Whoever didn't make it had one more round, and that was for his customer's benefit. because those females were gone.
Yep. I know one of the funniest parts about, he said back in the day they used to drive the bulls to the cow herds. He's like, now as the bulls figured out, he just backs up the trailer and the bulls they run and jump in the trailer because they know, hey, it's about to be game time.
Yeah, he turned into their wingman.
And when does he calve? When is his window of calving ish? If you had that figured out,
I don't recall. I know I'll have it nailed down after I go back through our footage, but I don't recall.
right? I was just curious, but
He had some cows that had some young calves on the side, but they got bred early or
Yeah, he did
something
that.
iffy on.
There was 20 in there max.
Yeah.
So we that was a beautiful part about it. We got to see a little bit of every age range of his operation. We went through one of the first pens. He had 3 bulls that were about 4 years old penned, and they were really impressive. And then we moved into another paddock, and he had these females that were bred early, and with their calves on them, and they looked really good. And then the next one we rolled through, and you're big on hormonal balance, and he didn't announce that there was a bull with this next group. He just had some first-year girls penned.
Yeah.
And laying down amongst the middle, I saw that big balloon neck and just stood up with force. And that was where my eye went first, same as you.
Yeah.
And we asked, what's the story on the bull? And so we spent the next hour bumping through that pasture and another. It was fun seeing these. It's easy to pull your best up to the front and show them off. When the guy's willing to take you on a roller coaster ride in his buggy,
Literally.
through some rock country to go find cows to look at them. It was an adventure, and it was a great experience.
yeah. Well, good.
Anything more you'd like to add to that, Grant?
Not necessarily. I don't know tonight if y'all want to shoot in the bull and let y'all two brothers go
Yeah.
say what y'all want to say, or
Yeah.
I don't know.
I know when we got here, it was my first opportunity. I spoke with Darris, but it was my first opportunity to meet you and speak with you. And I feel like the two of y'all play off well. I told Darris earlier that I feel like I finally found a little bit of the missing element here. And speaking to him, you kind of fill that gap well. And I really appreciate you helping me get an understanding of a visual appraisal of the quality of cattle.
Yeah, sure. We got to yesterday spend a little time one-on-one and talked about a bull and specifically and kind of talked through that bull. But I think anything Darris and I are going to talk about or say about cattle is directly to what Dad taught us and what we learned from our dad. That's all we know. Neither one of us are, we have college degrees, but neither one of them
You
are.
didn't take animal science?
No, I'm not. I have a degree, but it is not in animal science. It's in education, actually. But what we learned is from Dad, and that's what we know. That's all we know. And you think, and I've heard Darris say this before. You think growing up, man, Dad can't be all right, and you always kind of want to go test the waters and look at other things and learn. But the older we get, I think the more we figured out he had it right. He saw all those other things going on the edges that he wasn't interested in and knew they were leading in the wrong direction. And so he was laser focused, and he certainly raised us that way, so we don't get too far off our path of what we believe in. And like I say, we don't know it any different. We've been hearing that since we were 3 years old, and what a cow should look like and what a bull should look like and why. So, no, it's been a pleasure to have you guys here. And didn't get to spend the day with you today, but looking at cattle yesterday and having you here and showing you guys what we do, and hopefully can talk about it so others can maybe see what it is that we do and how we do it and why we do it.
Yeah.
So,
Along those same lines, what do you feel pushed your father in the direction of cattle that he's in? Was it necessity? Was it economics? Was it passion? Was there something that stood out about y'all's line of cattle in the form?
yeah, with Dad is undoubtedly passion. I mean, he loved Hereford cattle from our grandpa had Hereford cattle. I think 1932 were the first registration papers that Grandpa had. The first 2 registered Hereford cattle he had. So that love of Hereford cattle specifically was instilled in Dad at a young age. And that's all it was. I said at Dad's funeral, there's 3 things that Dad loved more than any other, and that was grandkids, Hereford cattle, and God. and you can put them in any order, and I don't think you'd be wrong. So, yeah, that's what Dad loved and had a passion for Hereford cattle and breeding a certain type of Hereford cattle. And Darris can talk to the Bonsma side of that, of where Dad learned his what he believed in and how he trained his eye was through Bonsma and what he taught. So, like I say, Dad was very specific. We're going to kill that guy here in a second, or he's going to get us.
He's pointing at you.
How fitting that a mud dauber enters the chat.
Oh, now he's mad.
Well, Darris, anything to add on that? I mean, I'd love to hear you speak a little more on the Bonsma side and how that led to your father and his principles of cattle.
Yeah, and I think we'll tie it into the first stop you guys made up on this trip, that was a, I don't know, multi-generational operation, or a torch was passed from one generation to the next there. A lot of history, a lot of knowledge, and I think that program had some inspirations from the same place too. So that's pretty cool about this whole deal. And the trip today, just it all ties together to a lot of guys wanting to breed cattle, and everybody's got their, if it's a spoked gear with, everybody might be a cog or two off in their keen eye or their environment or what shaped them in their operation, but we're all in the same slot, if you know what I mean. So that's fun to be around similar, like-minded people, and
They all kind of wound up at a similar destination.
Right.
I don't know. One time you told me to bring it up at one point. I know, Darris, you gave me a cool analogy on. I know of my own counting. I'm not trying to hijack it by any means, but it's like counting. I led to a certain animal, and I thought I did something cool and unique, and to learn to behold, and find out, oh no, I just ended up creating an animal that was similar to. Y'all have been producing it for freaking decades.
Yeah, and I think because of the world we live in today with the internet, and I think Dad felt like he was on an island for a lot of the years he did what he did. He was certainly shunned by, the big advertisement dollars and the big names, but he kept true to what he believed in. And I don't think Dad knew. I know he didn't know there was as many like-minded people as there are out there that Darris has certainly found in recent years, and he would have just been blown away. If there was a guy in Australia that thinks and likes the exact same cattle I like, what? It's kind of hard to believe because he was isolated to his ranch and, closed off from the outside world way more than we are today. So, yeah, there are a lot of people that think similar, and I think through you guys and other avenues have been able to find each other and share similar philosophies. And
There's actually I don't know which book it is by Bonsma, but he has about 4 paragraphs in there, and he talks about his own studies or advancements in life, and he talks about a mountain, and there's all these trails going up, and you go up one time, and you hit this cliff, and you can't make it. You gotta go back down. You get discouraged, and then you gotta go back up. And he goes through this whole thing about climbing a mountain. But he also says when you get there and you plant your flag, and he says you look over there, shit, there's already one there. To your point,
you still made it up the mountain.
You still made it up the mountain, but your point there, it's pretty cool that other breeders are there. There's people standing there with you, So anyway, I just had that thought out of his book right then.
That's a wonderful analogy. I mean, I've said multiple times on this trip alone that we have a greater voice together. So each of you producers have made an achievement in the sustainability of your cattle and the staying power of them. And you can scream from the mountaintops independently about what your cattle have achieved and how they could help the world. And it'll only go so far. When each of you stand together and recognize what the other has done, the accomplishments that there have been, and how their cow could fit a need greater than yours could. I feel like we really resound together.
Right.
Well, to kind of tear down, I think this is the principle of Bonsma about one reason he was against the show ring is saying, oh, there's a champion animal. I know that's one badass thing about meeting guys like you or like both of y'all, and how we showed you Watt Casey's animals, and you weren't jealous at all. You're like, oh, that's that's a nice female. There was like no ego on like, oh, my cow can beat that one.
Right.
I've honed in
No,
on
like,
that recently.
Yeah, no, all badass cattlemen all over the world are like, oh, that's a badass freaking cow right there.
Without needing to know.
Or that's a sexy cow.
Right.
There's no, oh, well, if that thing goes to the show, well, shit, that one might beat mine, or it depends on the judge, or
Right.
But that's one cool thing about meeting other badass cattlemen is they're like the egos aren't there,
Exactly.
or there's just respect for good cattle. And
They were beat out of us a long time.
that's why we drink beer.
Right.
I guess that's kind of, y'all might know where to go already, but if someone's brand new to the damn business, I guess that's something that's aggravating. Is like, I know you had a question, Dave, that you brought up. All right, if you're 30 years old, you have $5,000 or $10,000. Like, how did
The 20 acres.
what's going on today?
What do I do?
Yeah, what's going on in the cattle industry today? Like, what happens?
Pick up a magazine and whoever's got the biggest dollars in advertisement, and they sucker you in. I mean, that's unfortunately
That's the truth of what's happening.
that's what it is, and they got the fanciest catalog or the biggest ad and the most dollars spent on it, and
Then how did guys find y'all eventually?
I mean,
because they went down that path and figured out it didn't work,
Yeah.
and then they went and searched a new path out. Right? I mean, honestly, I think that's a lot of guys that have done it and been like,
So you're never anybody's first dollar spending.
well, I won't say never, but I mean, a lot of times it takes somebody to mess it up and go, well, that isn't what I want.
or
That
you
didn't
find
work.
a mentor that's did it wrong, did it right, that grabs the young kid and says, "Don't start there, start there." I mean, we get some of that too, right? I mean,
How many times have we heard somebody say, man, your dad told me that 30 years ago, and it took me 15 years before I started believing what he's telling me, and I screwed up for 15. You know, that's part of your story, is it took a while to figure it out. So, yeah, how to cut through those years of waste and money and time, and, you know, we only got so long, all of us, to do this and try to put our stamp on it, and when you're wasting time going down the wrong path, pretty frustrating. You know, so yeah, I won't say no, but I would hear that often. You know, of man, until we started using your guys' stuff, we thought what we had was good, and this stuff's way better. It works so much better, and a huge compliment. But we, hear that
Still
quite
aggravating.
often. Yeah, it's wish we'd have found you guys 20 years ago. Oh, we were here. We just didn't have enough money to spend to get in front of you yet. You know, on the advertisement side or the promotion side. So, yeah, it can be frustrating at times to get in front of the people that maybe need what you have, but that's the challenge or part of it, I guess.
Darris, I know you made a comment one time that as kids, sometimes you don't want to second guess your dad, but at the same time, it's like, hey, is he actually right? But I mean, you told me before, like, hey, like someone would buy a bull, then 5 to 10 years later they come back, and then y'all saw that as kids too,
right, right.
And
And as far as in, you know, later in life, their dad got invited to do some speaking engagements, and I actually heard people hold my dad's opinion in some esteem or whatever, and like, okay, maybe he isn't just the mad crazy guy. Maybe he's on it, you know, over the target. And so often that's, you know, we heard a cattleman today say he was pretty proud of the fact that someone mentioned him in the light that mainstream that went this way and he went the other way, right? And I don't know. So often that seems to be where truth is the opposite of where everybody else is going. And there's a lot of truth to that, you know. So,
Well, I have a question for each of y'all, is you included. How frustrating is it that if you've done your job right, a customer finds their way to you, buys a single bull, and because your bulls are so long-lived and do their job so well, you don't see them for another 10, 12 years? I mean, do you know, is there a communication, or you wish there could have been more interaction? How does that feel, I guess I'm getting at?
Yeah, I mean, it's right. I'll say something for Grant, but it's a great thing, right? We all know it is, but on the sales side, right, which is what a lot of them are doing. Their bulls are lasting 2 or 3 years, and then they're back to buy a new one, and that revolving door of the customer. Yeah, certainly not. It doesn't is not the way it works for us. Fortunately, that's a good thing. But yeah, I mean, we sell somebody a bull, and a lot of what we sell, I'll speak to our stuff specifically, but we sell a lot of Hereford bulls to Angus breeders. So they're getting those black baldies. Well, they're not going to, most of them aren't going to go breed those black baldies Hereford, right? Because then they're going to get red calves and horns and things they're maybe wanting to stay away from. So it's a one-shot deal. And then they're going to go back to what they were doing before, which is probably Angus or Red Angus, whatever they might be doing. So the Hereford is just a piece of their puzzle, you know, for all the positives that they're getting from that bull. But it isn't something that they're maybe going to continue to do. So we have quite a few customers that do that. So that limits that customer base of a bull might be 15 years before they come back, you know, in a small herd for another Hereford because they don't. And we're kind of in that window right now with, you know, 4 or 5 customers that they aren't going to buy a bull. It's not that they don't like them or love them. They don't need one of all. They don't need that Hereford influence in their herd for a little bit of time. So yeah, that can be a challenge on specifically in our scenario.
It's kind of odd when the customer shows up with their kiddo in the back seat and you say, adios, enjoy the bull, and I'll see you when you grown.
Right, yeah. You might not see the kid till you, yeah, well said. Yeah, exactly. So go ahead, Grant.
Why don't this happened this was like a couple of weeks ago.
That's what inspired the thought.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, no, there's a guy called me. He asked he called me and asked me if I wanted to buy a bull that I sold him 10 years ago. So that was like a 12-year-old bull now.
Yeah.
And I was just like, sir, I'm glad he's doing great. But I was like, this is 12. He's like, Grant, he looks as good as the day you sold him. I was like, that's good.
I don't either.
Yeah, but I guess. You tease me for using the same words, but full circle. But no, it all of a sudden started clicking a little bit. I was like, wait a second. I was like, sir, you're not calling me to buy another bull. You're trying to sell a bull I sold you. I was like, does that mean you already bought some bulls to replace them? He's like, well, yeah. Then he told me the name. It was the most mainstream Brahmin ranch there is, and I just got kind of pissed. I was just like, sir. I was like, in this conversation, you were telling me how fertile his daughters were, how badass they were the best cows in your herd, and this bull made it that long, and yet instead of going back to me to get another bull, you
got suckered in.
He's like, well, yeah, Grant, this is the most famous breeder in the world, and I was just like,
well, he also what he fails to mention is what all the man retained from this bull. So he took a bull and built a herd, and was proud of this herd, and then as soon as he was done building the herd and was ready to fuck it up, called Grant to take back what built the good herd.
Yeah.
Instead of asking me, I would have. But that's the beauty of Boss Irish. I would have told him like, hey, I know some guys are scared of line breeding or Callion, but I'd have been like,
sure, no.
I would have told him in a heartbeat, go to Kemper, go.
Yeah.
I would have given him a list of, hey, go to these Brahmin guys that they won't screw up what you got.
That rounds back to what y'all stated earlier. Y'all can recognize good cattle for good cattle and set ego aside. Maybe these producers or maybe these y'all's customers don't recognize that true cattlemen have that capability.
Right. Yeah. Well, that leads to a story of just talking about bulls and their impact and not knowing. Dad always told the story, and I can't tell you what year the year it was or the number of the bull or nothing like that. I might not even have been alive, but he bought a bull. I think it was out of Montana, and was trailering the bull home and thought he had bought, the next great thing, and was so excited. The bull got hurt on the trailer on the way home, unloaded him, whatever, and was just devastated that this, generational sire was lost, and he never bred a cow. And Dad told the story that as the years went by and he found out more about the background of that bull, the pedigree, the mama, so on, that
it was a blessing.
It was the best thing that ever happened. Was that bull never bred a cow on his place. So it's funny how that can work, right?
I guess God was watching out.
Right, of like the best thing. And Dad, in some of his speeches, would tell that story much better than me. But it was like, I thought I had something, and the good Lord was saying, no, you don't want that. You're going in the wrong direction. And so, so things can happen sometimes that, the opposite of the 12-year-old bull, but a bull that never bred a cow. And that was a blessing. So it can go either way, I guess.
Well, unless you have anything to add, can y'all speak to how hard it is to build a relationship with a customer when they're seen at these large intervals? I mean, do they go forth and speak on the power of the genetics they purchased from you? Do they recognize them for what they are when they're that long lived, or do you feel like y'all don't get the honor of that as well?
Yeah, I mean it's a challenge. Darris and I are probably the most guilty, and we're terrible at getting off the ranch. We're busy day to day, so going to see people and what those bulls are doing for them, that's tough for us. We don't do a good job of that. We will both admit that. So it's, unless you're going and seeing them and seeing those and keeping that, they're busy too. So that can
and we have gotten better at kind of begging for pictures of calf crops and send us. We want to see them, and people are proud and send you pictures, and it's fun to see what's happening, So
yeah, I was gonna bring up y'all two. It's just y'all two / I heard your wife's coming on.
Sure. She helps out. Mm-hmm.
Not trying to get y'all to say how many cattle y'all have, but I know we all have 36 different or 35 different properties y'all are running cattle on, and it's basically y'all two. I didn't see any ranch hands around here.
If you saw one, he didn't work for us.
Y'all don't have like a customer service rep, an office manager.
Great story. So in our production sale, I don't know how many years ago it was, Darris, we thought we needed some help, some sales promotion, so
I saw a guy online.
So we went down that avenue and got somebody to come out and meet with us. And
Bubbles is bringing out the next bull.
Well, and we both got a pretty good vibe and that, but he didn't return our call and we never heard from him again. So we laughed. We're like, I guess tells you where we're at in things. Can't even get a sales promoter to even answer our phone call. So no, it's y'all. It's us. I mean, I do the sale catalog, and we feed every animal, every bite of hay they get, and every bale that's fed to. I mean, yeah, it's us.
And I know, Grant, you're the same way. So.
Yeah. Well, I guess what I was getting is like if someone's really, I guess roundabout way, if there's an operation that's really really good at marketing, like to us, or that's a red flag.
Yeah.
That's where it's. I'm not saying the game's loaded against, but I know it's hard for y'all to follow up and with the customer service and talk every couple months about every person that bought a bull from y'all. Hey,
you try, but
y'all got a lot of shit going on.
Yeah, right. And not that we sell that many bulls, but it's day to day. There's a lot going on.
That was an unfair question of me, I guess.
Yeah, but the fact that y'all are hands on means y'all know what y'all are doing compared to.
And that's there's. Okay, so if we weren't spending all that intimate time with the cattle themselves and know them intimately like we do,
would y'all be the breeders that y'all are?
Right. So it's give and take. So are you a great promoter and you're never around your cow herd, or are you? I don't know. There's only so many hours in a day, and I guess maybe we'll scratch that winning ticket and have help. But
if I won the lottery, I wouldn't tell anybody, but there would be signs.
Right. Yeah, I have said this many times, but someone comes to look at cattle, they get in the truck, you go out in the pasture and you look through the cows. I had someone do it last summer, and you're kind of giving them the tour and looking through them, and they tell you which one's your best cow. And that just blows my mind. Like, really?
You don't know.
I don't know.
Thank you.
Thanks. Thanks for pointing that out, right? Yeah, no, pretty much living this with these cows.
It's actually on sale for you today.
Right. It's like,
don't look over here.
And we're not numbers people and all that, so they're not based it on EPDs or nothing like that, but just their visual appraisal, and which is fine. But I'm like, I kind of take a little discredit in that of like, I can tell you a lot about that cow that there's no way just driving out here you can do. And the visual appraisal is important, but there's history to it, and cow families, and production, and what she does so many things. And so anyway, people just kind of, I don't know, jump out there and start telling you things that maybe when you live with the cows, right? I think I've heard Darris say this before. If you get in a truck with the cattleman, you go out in this herd and he can't tell you which one's your best 2 or 3, 4 cows, I don't think he knows his cow herd that well, because we all know.
So, Patrick, you're like the master of asking questions in this whole deal, right? Yeah. So let me toss you a question.
Thanks for tuning in to Shooting the Bull. What you just heard was only a glimpse of the full conversation, and there's a lot more where that came from. For the full episodes, deeper conversations, and real cattleman talk with no filter, Join us over on Patreon. Question the noise, trust the land, and don't breed nonsense.